here on the '07 Buick Lucerne with the 3800 V6. We got the fuel rail right here with each injector here and the test point right here, as well as the other fuel rail here with the injectors. The tank is at the back underneath the trunk with the fuel pump and fuel sender assembly back there. This is a sequential multi-point injection system, or a multi-port, because each individual injector has its own control in the PCM. This is also a electronic returnless fuel system, and the fuel pressure sits at around 56 to 62 psi, so about 60. Back here behind the Buick Lucerne, got the trunk underneath the gas tank underneath the trunk, like I said, and over here have the fuel pump, fuel sender assembly, with the lines here and the connectors, as well as the seal around it there. And of course, to remove that, you gotta disconnect all this, remove this ring, do all that to get that out of there. Now here we have the wire diagram for the Buick, and here we have the fuel pump and sender assembly, as well as the fuel tank pressure sensor. As you saw in that video, there were two connectors on top of the fuel pump assembly. That one off to the right back there was that 3-wire one for the pressure sensor. And in this next clip you'll see we tested the fuel pump and sender assembly, and we tested this gray wire because this black wire is just the ground. This gray wire comes up to the fuse here, the fuel pump relay, not fuse, sorry, fuel pump relay. And these other two wires here go to the PCM signal, and this wire here also goes up, I believe, to the PCM, and that's the low reference there. So this next clip we'll be testing the fuel pump assembly there on this wire that goes up here to the fuel pump relay. Back here in the trunk of the Buick, got my voltmeter here on the fuel pump and the ground. That is the wire that goes to the fuel pump relay. Right now we're getting pretty much no voltage, but we're going to turn the key on. Okay, so we got a reading there, and it immediately shut back off after about a couple seconds, like it should, and we're going to start it. Here in the wiring diagram, have the fuel injectors here, and here we have each individual 1, 5, 1, 6, 3, 2, and 4, and each injector has their own individual control in the PCM here, which should indicate that it is a sequential fuel injection system. And the wire colors, as shown here, are obviously all different for the kind of ground side here. And on the Buick in lab, some of these were different, some of these colors weren't consistent on bank 1, so 2, 4, and 6, which is on the, I guess, right bank, the bank at the front of the engine bay. The ground control wires here were not the same colors, but I was able to distinct the wires because A, all of the positive voltage wires are pink, and also the ones on the left bank, or the top left side of the engine, or the bank at the back of the engine bay, were all of the right colors. 1, 3, and 5 were all the correct colors. It's just the ones on bank 1 were not. On the Buick Lucerne, have the fuel injector back probed, but we're not turning the car on because we don't want to short that. But we are getting ohm readings off of this. The factory specification is 12, and right now we are getting about 12.1, 12.2, which is right there in factory spec. On the Buick, doing voltage drop of the fuel injector, have the negative lead here on the driver's circuit, or the ground, whatever you want to call it, for the fuel injector, and the power side onto a battery positive. Now the battery is in the trunk, so I'm doing it at the battery positive here on the fuse block. And this is key off, engine off voltage. On the Buick, doing voltage drop still on the ground here, and battery positive. And right now we're getting a drop. It's bouncing around a little bit, but it's about 0.5, 0.7 volts across the fuel injector. On the Buick again, gonna rev the engine up and look at the voltage drop change here. There on the injector, on positive. I'm gonna watch it change. Here on the Buick, have the Pico scope hooked up, running, idling. We're getting a nice wave here, 15 millisecond division, and yeah, we can see the on time here. If I increase the division here, there we go. You can see the on time. Oh, this is of course shortened or lengthened, but on time here, and the spike from when the power is cut off. On the Buick, we're gonna rev it up a little bit, watch the voltage spike here change. We got a 20 millisecond division here. So as you see, as RPMs increase, the on time gets a little wider. Injectors stay on for just a little longer.
Alright, so right now we have our Pico about to run it rich with a propane bottle.
Now in that clip, we did have the propane there and shot some into the intake to try and change, of course, the injector pulse width, and as you saw, nothing changed. That I am not sure of, because I made sure I had that valve open, I had my thumb on the button, I had the hose in the intake, but no, the injector pulse width did not change. And after this clip stopped, we tried it again just to try and get a different result. I opened it up more, held it on there for longer, and still did nothing. I opened that bottle almost all the way open until the engine nearly died, and it never changed, and I'm not quite sure why. But we still obviously were able to see the injector wave, that on-off time change in the last clip, where we revved it a little bit. You see it get wider when the RPMs go up. But no, with running it rich, not sure why, but it didn't change. It could be to do with the fact that it's an electronic returnless system. I'm not sure, but yeah, it did not change. And that's the last of this video. So thank you for watching.